Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining me for this extra episode. Normally the episodes go out every Friday at 3 p.m, but today's episode is kind of like a little bonus feature of something that I just wanted to share with you all before the next available Friday in the schedule. Before I start, as always, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who has been tuning in, subscribing, sharing. I really appreciate it, and I've been getting some really lovely feedback from listeners, so that's so great. I can't tell you how much that means to me. I've been really excited to share this with you all for a while now. I haven't been sure exactly how to put it out there. Anybody who's been with me for a while, anybody who's been following me and interacting with me from the start of Ashley Nicole Hypnobirthing might have noticed, or might not have noticed, but some of you may be aware that I've not been as active lately. My newsletters have been coming out late. My social media posting has perhaps not been as frequent, or perhaps it's not been as at the same level that it normally is. I haven't been sharing on my Instagram stories very much. Probably one of the only things that I've been able to keep up with particularly well over the past few months has been the podcast and YouTube videos. That's largely because I have been taking time to rest and relax, and I've kind of discovered that I don't have to constantly be working all the time. I already have a separate job to this, so I have a day job. I don't really think of hypnobirthing as a job as such. It's definitely a career path, but it's also a passion. It's not just something that I do to pay bills. It's something that I do because I see it as a way that I can help people. And up until a couple of months ago, I had a very strict working schedule where nearly every evening of the week I would have a different task that I would do, and it's just not been possible for me to do lately. And the place that it's been most evident to me has been where I'm seen on social media. Some of the things that I would do on a regular basis is I'd have one night where I would do scheduling for social media posts. I'd have a night where I'd do planning for the coming month. I'd have a night where I would do a bit of studying. There's always new things that you can learn. And then I'd have nights where I would just work through a to-do list. And this was always kind of rotated week by week. I had a different thing for each week. Might sound very over the top, but if I don't have a schedule like that, then I feel like I fall behind, and then I don't know what to focus on. So it's always worked very nicely for me, but it has always meant that I've had very little time to myself, and I've not been able to relax very much. I don't get to rest very much. I very rarely get to just sit and watch the telly or watch a film. I'm really into reading, and so it means that I might not get as much reading done. And this is all after my kids have gone to bed. It doesn't interfere with what time I spend with them. So it's been a way to get a bit of a better balance so that I'm not doing stuff when I could be doing things with them. But it's also meant that I've kept on top of things, and it probably doesn't sound like a very good balance because I'm working at my desk job during the day. That's not quite a full-time job, but it's only a couple of hours short of full-time. And then when the kids come home from school and nursery, I spend a little bit of time with them, which is mostly, the evening rush to have tea, get wound down for bed, and then do bedtime. And then I'm logging back on and I'm doing whatever that day's task is. And so for the past few months, I've been basically getting by on whatever little work I can. So, I've still been scheduling, but only the absolute necessary posts. I've been updating my website for upcoming courses. I have still been putting my all into the courses I've been running. And that's been about it, really. Other than the odd thing that I thought, that's really something that I have to do. And do you know what I've discovered in doing all of this? My courses haven't disappeared, my business hasn't disappeared, people are still interacting with me, people are still booking me, because it still exists, it's still out there. And service-based businesses particularly run better from word of mouth anyway. So I thought it would be detrimental, but it was absolutely necessary. And now I've learned that actually I can readjust things. So I've spent some time over the past week or so figuring out a new way to go that will still allow me that freedom to have more evenings where I just relax and I just switch off for a few hours, knowing fine well that if I really need to bring more work into it, I can. So I've cut back on some of the things that I think actually maybe aren't necessary or aren't necessary to be doing all of the time. And I've just really figured out what the priorities are and the best way to go about them. Will I always have a big to-do list of things that I need to change? I need to update this. That could look better on my website. I need this for the podcast. There are things that I need for the podcast. I haven't got a proper intro or outro for it yet. I could be, really advertising it more, but people are listening to it. People are watching the videos. So it was always meant to be there to see if I could increase my reach a little bit, and hopefully it will, but I don't want to keep putting myself out and keep spreading myself so thin. Now, you might be wondering, what is the point of all of this? This is a hypnobirthing podcast. Why do you care about the rate at which I'm doing my work? I mean, you might care about it, especially if you're somebody that actually knows me in person. You might be thinking, yeah, you do work a lot. It's time to calm things down. I don't know. But you might well be wondering, is there a point to this? Didn't you say you had something exciting to share with us? Well, I do. The exciting thing that I've got to share with you is the reason why I started taking this time out. So, every so often, I will just take a week or so off, a week, 10 days. It usually coincides with a holiday, going away for the week. I'll delete my social media. I'll put a limit on checking my emails because I know any inquiries and things will be there at the end of that holiday. And I always come back feeling refreshed and raring to go. Or, over Christmas, I might just calm things down so that I can just enjoy Christmas. I might do a long weekend here or there where I don't do anything. So in April, we took a week. We went away for a week to see my sister and her family who live in Spain. And that week, I kept things to a minimum. I still had access to things because I had a group course coming up, but I just largely kept things to a minimum. So after that holiday, I thought, right, I'll be able to get back into it. I want to just continue as I was, but it was hard. I just couldn't get the motivation. I didn't have the want or need really to keep doing it. Oh, well, I had the need, but the want wasn't there largely. I just didn't want to keep putting myself through that, and there were reasons for this. There were reasons. I was exhausted. I was feeling unwell. I had a lot on my mind. There was a lot for me that I was trying to figure out. And that's because a few days before we went to Spain, I found out that I was pregnant. So we were trying for a baby, and we'd been trying for about 4 months or so when we found out that we were pregnant. And when I got back from Spain, I was about 5 or 6 weeks when we found out. So when we got back from Spain, I was 6 to 7 weeks. And so, you hit that first trimester exhaustion. You don't want to be doing lots of things anymore. You want to be resting. And now, as I record this, I am 16 weeks. Although it won't go out when I'm 16 weeks, I'll probably be 17 to 18 weeks by the time it goes live. But you have that first trimester exhaustion, and you just don't want to do anything. The thought of doing things is a bit exhausting. So my plans have changed, the way I'm going to do things have changed, and I know that I'll get that energy back. I'm starting to feel like I'm coming out of the other side of the first trimester, but because I've spent the last 16 weeks, give or take, just trying to optimize resting, I don't want to go back to that. And I'm not in the position where I can schedule my time during the day because I have a job, and another job, and I obviously always want to put my children first. So I don't want to go back to the way it was before. I want to find a new way. So that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to find a new way that suits how I feel now, but also gives me that freedom going forward to keep feeling that way. And I'm hoping that it'll continue and that I won't get overwhelmed and think, oh, I'm falling behind on this needs doing, this needs doing. Does it always have to be like that? Have I made it too complicated for myself? Maybe. And so here we are, hoping that things will change for the better as far as my workload is concerned. I don't want to stop doing hypnobirthing. I don't want to stop investing my time in hypnobirthing. I want to keep bettering myself and learning more and knowing more and being able to deliver the best possible courses. But is the way I've been doing things the best way to do that? Maybe not. I can't be the best possible hypnobirthing teacher I can be if I'm exhausted, and I can't be the best possible mother that I can be if I'm exhausted. And yeah, those of you that have been pregnant before will know how it feels. Pregnancy exhaustion is different to any other kind of exhaustion. It's because you don't feel like you're doing anything extra. It's hard because you think, I shouldn't feel this exhausted. But I've had days where I can work hard at my desk job for an hour, and for like 2 hours afterwards I feel horrific. And I can't drink coffee like I did before. I cut back to 1 cup a day, and even that, it was making me feel really unwell. So I've had to switch to a slow release caffeine, which is very nice. It's made a big difference. It's a tea, but there's no like extra boost throughout the day. And I think even if there was, it wouldn't make a difference. And then I've got 2 children on top of this, who I still have to look after. And my husband is incredibly helpful and supportive, but that doesn't mean that I do nothing. It means I'm doing what I can when I can. So there'll be some social media posts going out after this to share the pregnancy. And what I think I'm going to do is once every few weeks post an update on here about what I'm doing, what how I'm feeling, what sort of appointments I've had. I'll be starting with a full roundup of the last sort of 16 weeks or so. I'll always be obviously working a little bit behind myself, but yeah, that's it. That's the news. There's a third baby on the way for this household. So, and also we're going to be getting an extension. So I'll be sharing some of those details on my socials at the very least. Okay, well, thank you for tuning in today, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.